that kind of behavior. That a godly woman and a godly mom has to know how to deal with the spiritual side of what is driving your child. Everybody else might have them. I'm not against therapy. I believe in therapy. I believe in counseling. I believe that it's great. Everybody might have their child in a 3-step program, and they'll do 3 steps, come out, fail again. 3 steps, come out, fail again. 3 steps, 10 steps, 20 steps, I don't care. Come out, fail again. Evidence shows that. Because without God, you're not going to get real deliverance. Without God bringing transformation, the greatest thing you can do for your children is have a God encounter with them. This mom is discerning. She says, I know the problem. And it's what Paul tells us in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. That we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, wickedness, and darkness. She's not in a battle with her daughter. Although from the outside it may seem that way sometimes. But she's fighting a battle against spiritual forces. Mama, while you're fighting for your child, you've got to fight against some things. You've got to fight against any generational curse. You've got to shut some doors that are in your bloodline. You've got to deal with the devil that's got a hold of them. You've got to have a prayer life that knows how to press in. You've got to know how to go to an altar and stand on the basis of the blood covenant of Jesus Christ and the finished work of the cross. That when he died, when he was buried, he rose again and he gave you victory. You've got to know how to apply that blood. You've got to know how to appropriate cross. And you have to know how to live in resurrection power. That the same spirit that raised Christ from the dead now dwells on the inside of you. So when that child is operating through a demonic spirit, you know how to operate in a stronger spirit. You know how to deal with the entity that is driving that behavior and not accept that entity. That entity is in your house illegally. That entity is in your bloodline illegally. That entity is in your generation illegally. You've got to know how to cast it out. You've got to know how to deal with it. And God's ways are not man's ways. You can't counsel a devil. You can't pet a devil. You can't get a devil and just lock it up in a closet. You got to know how to deal with the devil. You got to have a faith that is tenacious, that says, you keep going after my child in the name of Jesus. I'll go after all hell. I'm not afraid of headlines. I'm not afraid of people writing against me. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. I'm not embarrassed to stand up and talk about the Supreme Court. I'm not embarrassed to talk about issues. I'm not embarrassed to say right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care what you call me. I'm going after the devil and my child and your children and every generation. You will not be able to fix our children. Parents, you're not going to kill all the males in this generation. That spirit's got to go. A woman is a woman. A man is a man. We're not going to confuse our children. You're not going to teach my children or my grandchildren any other thing. We got a battle and I fight. Not with my hands. I don't even fight with my brain. I fight with my spirit. Hey, don't get a church raised up. Don't get people riled up. We'll take a generation back. Y'all better be seated. I'm going to preach. Watch. A mama has to be discerning. A mama has to know how to fight in the spirit. Maybe you think this child has been the cause of such heartache and all. But you got to know how to deal with it in the spirit. So here we go. Where am I? A mama. See, I just start going. I start going. I said the first and best route to take is through prayer and battling the spiritual forces of evil that may be the root cause of the problem. I'm going to hone in for a minute. I know I got to get to the other points, but if I don't, it's okay. Because, Elder Harold, I thought about this. I'll say it, I'll preach it, I'll live it in front of you over and over and over. May every day there be some flash of bright before you, because it's really evidence of what God wants to do in your life. Those days that I would lay out, and it's crazy. Think about this. I wasn't putting a detective on him. I wasn't running to the school board trying to change things. I wasn't going to a counselor. You know what I was doing? Buying gallons of oil. I'm serious. It's crazy when I think about it. And I would take oil and I would anoint his whole room, and I would lay out almost all day long on his bed. I would take points of contact. Y'all think I'm really crazy. I can't tell you what all I did. I take points of contact that I had something to connect to in the realm of the Spirit to hold covenant rights with him. You will put on those tennis shoes. I take and I put those oilcloth in his tennis shoes. I would sew on the inside of his jeans. I would take clothes of his and hold them when I was praying over him. I even anointed his dog, Faya. That's a good name because he would hold Faya. Faya was in the middle of the time. I anointed the dog. I put scriptures everywhere, all over the place. I mean, I have a point of contact, and if I wasn't in his room doing that, I was praying over him all the time. I was using oil. I was going to the altar, giving offering after offering after offering. I would take something that meant something to me and sacrifice it to God. I would give God something that was meaningful to me because I'd say, this is nothing. If it was a wedding ring, or if it was my bank account, or if it was a house I had, I'd lay it on the altar and say, this means nothing to me. You mean everything to me, and my bloodline is what you've given me. And I'd pray, and I'd sacrifice, and I'd serve, and I'd say, God, remember me. Remember me cleaning your toilets. Remember me cleaning your floor. Remember me changing the diapers of your children. Remember me dressing up like a clown with a bullhorn and leading those children to the Lord. Remember me. All of that matters. Every ounce of it matters. You say, Pastor Paula, which one did it? I have no idea. It all did. Going to the nursing home when nobody knows I'd go to the nursing home. I'd say, where do you want me to go, sir? He'd tell me, go to the hospital and don't let them know you were Paul White Ministry. Go to the children's ward and minister to the cancer patients, the pediatrics. And I'd go down on Tuesday to pediatrics. I'd go to a nursing home that nobody knows. I said, I'm not coming as Paula White. I'm just Paula. Give me the 3 patients that nobody, that has absolutely nobody. And let me minister to them. I'd go and I'd help foster kids and bring in children into our home and constantly giving. And Christmas, I'd adopt 100 families. It was all of it. I pray nonstop. Still do. It's not one thing. It's all things working. And you said, God, remember me. Remember me. Remember me. I live it before him. Brad says it. He didn't say it a lot when he was growing up. But Rachel Nally says stuff like, I've never heard him say that publicly. I watched every other man fail. You wouldn't say that. But there were moments of that. Your kids see everything. They watch everything. I've lived the Bible to the best of my ability. I tell y'all, I still need some help on some things. I'm getting a lot better. I am. The last of my Mohicans, I gotta give up all the cussing. I'm so much better than I was a few years ago. I promise you. Elder Gerald, I'm almost there. I'll be perfected by the time I get to heaven. Sometimes I just, anyway, I'm not getting into my problems. But I lived it. So when it says honor your husband, when it talks about submit, that's not something that I say up here on a pulpit. You didn't get Brad and Close every single day. Oh, does she submit? Absolutely. Submitted to Dean, Randy, and John. They watched until there were times they saw. They knew what was going on. And I came home crying one day. It was March 24th. I told you the story because Randy said, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is I still love you. The bad news is I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. So either an open marriage or you're going to lose everything. I said, well, I'll lose everything. Because at least my kids, they might think I'm crazy. They might think I'm kooky. But they will know that I was a real deal, that I at least lived true to what I thought. And to be honest, guys, it looked initially like I lost everything. The kids stayed back with Randy. He got the house, he got the furniture, he got the cars, he got the church. And they shipped me my clothes in a box. I lived in a hotel for 6 months. With a worldwide ministry that was under control of that. One president or anything, I was living in a hotel, praying and fasting, living true. Believing God for a miracle in my marriage. I believed God for that. I wanted that, elder. Believed God He would do it. It didn't happen. But I would not compromise that. One by one. Brad came, Angie came, Brandon. Now I say this sadly, they don't all have a relationship with other people, but all 3 of them are saved, serving God, and have a great relationship with me. I won't go through the whole 12 years, but I can tell you, how Mama, don't you quit. Don't ever stop. You see, there are some things that are off limits. Your children are off limits. The heart of a mama is also helpful. Matthew 15:25. The woman came and knelt before him and said, Lord, help me. She said, notice the mom expends effort to help her daughter with this issue. What will a mom not do? While she's discerning of the problem and its cause, she now seeks out to get her daughter help. She's intentional about it. She's desperate about it. She heard about Jesus, who He was, and the things He's doing. Mark chapter 7, verse 25. Almost through here. Says it like this. In fact, as soon as she heard about Him, a woman whose little daughter was possessed by an evil spirit came and fell at His feet. She was desperate to find the help she needed. She expended effort because faith without works is dead. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll get to you however I have to get to you. You already know she's not Jewish, she's Canaanite. She's a Gentile. In other words, she's not in covenant with God per se, but she is tenacious. Let me talk to the fight side of the women here. Let me talk to a tenacious mom. Come on, you're tired, but you're still tenacious. When she comes to Jesus, she cries out in desperation and pain. She says, "Oh Lord, thou son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter's grievously vexed with the devil." And the Bible says in verse 23 that He answered her not a word. Now that's a mess right there. And that's where some of us feel. I cried out and I didn't hear anything. She didn't stop. She kept praying. She kept kneeling. She kept worshiping. She kept kneeling. She kept praying. She kept worshiping. She kept kneeling. That's what it literally means. She kept praying. She kept worshiping. Here's the crazy thing. It doesn't say that Jesus didn't hear her. It says He did answer her. She keeps praying. She keeps worshiping. She keeps kneeling. She keeps praying. She keeps worshiping. She keeps kneeling. She keeps praying. She keeps worshiping. It shows us the impact of a mama with a persevering, relentless kind of faith. You see, James 5:16 says, "Confess your faults one to another and pray for one another, that you may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous man availeth much." You know what that means? The fervent means active and operative. It means your prayer has to be active. It has to be a noun prayer. It has to be operative. Of a righteous man, availeth means has force, has power, and has strength. The enemy wants to back you up with either false theology or bad teaching or something that gets lots of days ago that thinks, well, I asked once and he'll do it. The devil is a liar. You have to ask and ask again and ask again because it's an operative, active prayer. You got to be like the woman that just keeps on knocking. You got to be like the one who came to the judge who won't give up and says, I need an answer. You got to keep on going. You got to have an active, operative prayer life. That's the prayer life that brings and the strength of God. What do you do when God ignores you? You keep kneeling. You keep praying. You keep worshiping. You keep kneeling. You keep praying. You keep worshiping. We think I'm like this perfect little pretty picture of what man's imagination is. God says, no, 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 no. I'm letting you see. I'm building something in you. I'm not saying anything right now because I want to see what you will do. I want you to see what you'll do. God, I haven't heard from you in 6 months, but I'm going to deal today. I'm going to pray today. I'm going to worship today. It's been 6 months and 6 weeks. I'm going to kneel today. I'm going to pray today. I'm going to worship today. My situation hasn't changed. I'm going to kneel today. I'm going to pray today. I'm going to worship today. Just because you're not hearing from God doesn't give you a right to give up on God. God is faithful. You'll move. You'll move when it's time for him to move. It's not about God. It's about you. You got to know what's on the inside of you. You're not a quitter. Come on, this takes relentless faith. There's bigger tests around the corner. Keep kneeling. Keep praying. Keep worshiping. Keep kneeling. Keep praying. Keep worshiping. Now let me see that I'm almost through. It's bad enough when you get ignored in life. You don't feel valued. You don't feel respected. You don't feel liked. When I feel invisible. When I feel insignificant. But this is what God says. Watch. He's going to keep on walking. She's going to keep on walking no matter what happens. And if this is not bad enough, watch what the disciples do. The disciples, his staff, his friends, the ones that surround him, says, send her away. Now watch, they say, because she's crying after us. The people around him don't want her near him. So not only is Jesus, God is ignoring the woman with a daughter that's vexed with the devil. And the people around him, sounds just like church to me. The people around him add insult to the injury. They begin to say, you know what, you need to go on. You're not one of us. He's not here for you. You're crying after us. And they send her away. What do they say? You're not part of the posse. Jesus doesn't have time for you. This is not your club or clique. God only knows what they said. I don't know about you, but I've experienced rejection of others. Their denial. And it makes you feel bad. It makes you feel like something's wrong. And the problem, what's so crazy about this, is the disciples were the least of people to send her away because they're all jacked up themselves. They said, send her away. She's crying after us. They're jokers. Think about it. She's not crying after you. She's trying to get to Jesus, and you're just in her way. You're in her way. They're confused. They think it's God complex because they're around him. They think they're like him. Come on, and they get this God complex that thinks that the people want them. Listen, you're just an instrument. You're not the substance. You're just an instrument. Don't ever get it confused. When people come to you, you're just an instrument. When people come to me, I'm just an instrument. I can't do anything. He's the healer. He's the deliverer. He's the savior. He's the one. He's the provider. I'm just an instrument. We're all just instruments. I'm not the substance. I'm not the substance. I'm just an instrument. You're just an instrument. We're all instruments. This woman, watch. This is gold right here. I gotta finish with this. When Jesus finally does talk to her, he says this, I'm not here for you. Finally gets to Jesus. Desperate. Pushing through. I've preached for almost 40 minutes. To build a story. To paint a picture. And when she finally gets to Jesus, he says, I'm not here for you. I'm not here for you. Can you imagine? I think that's where most of us would have caved. I think that's where most of us would have went, okay, man, but not this woman. God, help me be like this woman that didn't even have a covenant. This woman that didn't even have hope because she's not been grafted in yet. Help me, God. Help my unbelief every time I start to falter. This woman, when he says, I'm not here for you, you know what she does? Goldie falls at his feet. Falls at his feet. Yeah, she presses on. She falls at his feet. This is not a church woman. This is a desperate mama who teaches us to press in for our children. Amen. This is a desperate woman. No doubt she heard about Jesus. That he was able to heal spirits and cast out evil spirits. Because earlier in his ministry, been in this region. It says in Luke chapter 6, verse 17 and 18, we see that once when he was teaching, it says there was a great number of people from all over Judea, from Jerusalem, and from the coast of Tyre and Sidon. So he's been there. Who had come to hear him and be healed of their diseases. Those troubled by evil spirits were cured. Those troubled by evil spirits were cured. So she was very easy to him. The mom heard that. When she goes out to seek him, when she's too desperate to be denied, when she's willing to do whatever it takes to get her daughter there, when she presses it and she finally gets there, watch, it shows me the heart of the mom being persistent. She says the woman came and knelt before him, so she kneels and says, Lord, help me. Matthew chapter 15, verse 25, verse 27. She said, he replied, it's not right. It's not right. This is the most perplexing. Every preacher wrestles with this verse. It's perplexing. I mean, Jesus is full of compassion. It's not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. Yes, Lord, she said. Wait, whoa, stop. Now I'm going to give this theologically to you and let you decide. I wrote this 4 times last night. I'm going to make it nice because Jesus is nice. Now I'm going to just give the raw of it. Now I'm going to give the grit of it. No, that's too much. They can't handle that. Let me give them a choice and see which one they want to go with. I rewrote it 4 times right here. Because you can't get away from the fact that he calls the woman a dog. Now there's 2 Greek words for dogs, and I'm going to give you both, and you decide which spirit came in. But you still can't. You call me a dog? That's why it works. You better pray that I'm sanctified that day. What would be worse is if you called my grandchildren a dog, John a dog, Rachel, I'll let Brad fight for himself. He's big enough now. Somebody that I really love. This is not cool. It's not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. And she says, yea, Lord. I'm saying, what you say? She says, yea, Lord. She said, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Verse 25. She came and kneeling, worshiped him, and kept praying. She came and kneeling and worshiped and kept praying. Okay, I'll tell you why I would say something wrong. Because I have not been kneeling and praying and worshiping. I react instead of respond. When you come and you kneel and you worship and you pray, the right stuff comes out of your spirit. When you come and you kneel and you worship and you pray, the right stuff comes out of your spirit. This is where most people have walked away. But she keeps pressing. She keeps pursuing. And finally, when Jesus says, I'm out here for you, listen, what happens? She worshiped, she kneeled, she kept praying. And this is what it means. What was Jesus saying? 2 words for dog in the Greek, Caleb and Canaanite. One's used in a more negative sense. I'm going to leave it for you to decide. You get to be a theologian today. One means a mangy mutt that runs wild in the streets. The other, which I'll choose for today, is teaching. Depends on if I'm kneeling and praying and worshiping, doesn't it? The other is what I'll say Jesus used here today, but your choice. It's more in the sense of a household pet. He's saying, and what he'd be saying is that his mission is first to the Jews. And it wouldn't be right to feed the dog the food. That's still insulting to me. I can't get away from this. To feed the pet dog the food he has come to bring for the children before feeding them. Okay, y'all talk to me in our woke culture. Ready? Our woke culture, where we live. Stephen, I'm going to pick on you and Crystal, because you'll still love me through it. So if I called you a mangy mutt, and I'm not here for your mangy mutt, and you know another word for a dog, and I'm not here because you're a mangy mutt stray dog. You know what a stray dog is? I didn't come for you because you're a mangy mutt. That's bad. But is it really good that I call you Stephen? Crystal, you're just a pet dog. You're just a pet dog. So why should I give the bread that I'm giving to Israel, why should I give you the crumbs? You're just a pet dog. Is that much better? I mean, come on, honestly. I can't get a good side on Jesus on this one. I'm trying, Pastor Todd. Maybe you need to come take the microphone. But me calling you a mangy mutt or a pet dog, that's not really endearing. I can't find it. And the woman actually takes no offense at all. You know how many people have been close in my life? Really close. And they take offense. It's amazing how the enemy gets in people. How easily people hear something, that heard something, that thought something, that you have to work hard not to take offense. You have to really and I always think to myself once I find out they have offense, well, if that's your offense, you want to know what I'm offended about? I think about all the things I can do, and then all we're going to get is in a stand-up. It's just nothing but brokenness. This woman is not offended. Stay with me, Mama. Your children have done a lot to make you quit. They've done things to make you give out, or to make you offended, or to dishonor, or to hurt you. But this woman teaches us a whole lot. She doesn't have offense over what could be the most offensive thing. And here's the conclusion of it. She uses the same analogy as a pet dog to say she understands. She's not looking for the children's food. I'm not asking for what you came to give Israel. I'm only asking for a crumb. I'm just asking for the scraps. Now you hear preachers say, well, if it's in the crumb, it's in the loaf. I don't like crumbs in life. I'll be honest with you. I don't want leftovers. Maybe it's just me, Nicolette. But I think God designed me not to live on leftovers. I'm sorry, I'm a king's kid. I love that. There's something in my nature that says, nah, I don't live off scraps. No. I don't only own the loaf, I don't own the bakery. There's something in me as a child of God that says, advance the kingdom. I think it's a makeup. And this woman teaches me so much. And she says, just a scrap of the King of Kings is all I need to accomplish the healing. She stays on point on task. I want to just conclude this with somebody that kept kneeling and kept worshiping and kept praying, with someone who still believes, with someone who's still in the house of God, with someone who's not offended, with someone who's been praying a long time, with someone who's going to return home, not to the ideal situation, with someone who just came and said, it's a good message, Paula, but if you can just get me to Jesus, I just need one little touch. I just need a bit of that anointing. I'm not asking for a whole enchilada. I just need some kind of hope in my heart to spring up, and when I go home, I'm going to keep praying, keep anointing, keep believing, keep standing. I just need that crumb. I just came to tell you one thing, and I'm through. This last sentence, I'm all through. I promise you, under the anointing of Jesus Christ, God told me, your persistence is going to pay off. Your persistence is going to pay off. Your daughter will be healed. Your son will be healed. I don't know if it's when they're 23 or 35 or 37. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I promise you, if you don't quit, if you keep kneeling, and you keep worshiping, and you keep praying, I promise you, Mama, you care. Mama, you're discerning. Mama, you're active. Mama, you're persistent. But Mama, you got a payoff. Because God says to you, great is your faith. He only said it to two people. You and the centurion man whose daughter was dying, or whose soldier was dying. And he said, you just need to speak the word, and the word heal him. Send the word, he told Jesus, and the word will heal him. He said, I've never seen faith like this. Will you walk away with one takeaway? Then Jesus will turn to God and say, man, on praying. She keeps on kneeling. She keeps on worshiping. Look, it's been another month. It's been another year. She keeps kneeling. She keeps praying. She keeps worshiping. I know her heart's broken, but she keeps kneeling. She keeps praying. She keeps worshiping. And right now, angels are waiting and see it like this. We're looking all over. We're looking at Asia. We're looking at Africa. We're looking at America. But there's this woman in a conqueror. She keeps kneeling. She keeps praying. She keeps worshiping. She keeps kneeling. She keeps praying.